Hello.
Oh my goodness, kittens, what's going
Yes.
on?
How's everyone doing? What's going on? What's happening? What's going down?
How's everything going for everybody else? Yes. I see eccentrics in the room. Hey, boo, what's going on?
Yes, I'm sure the kids will all show up eventually. So, listen, we are at episode 138. I think our next big milestone will be 150. So that's when we'll have our next studio audience.
Works for me.
Let's see when that will be. Hold on, let me pull out the
so we will have 12 more.
39, 40, 41, 42, 43.
Well, hold on.
That's 43.
That is our last for the month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
44, 45. So we have to do a show on the 21st because that's when we'll be in Fort Lauderdale. So we'll be able to do one live there and we'll have a whole built-in fucking audience for that one.
Well, yeah.
46, 47. August 4th is 47, 48, 49, 50. So our last show in August is episode 150.
Cool beans. So that's what we're doing. We talk about show 150 in August. We're gonna get it crack-a-lacking and popping and jobbing. That's what we're doing. Crack-a-lacking, popping and jobbing.
Right. So we'll got to do something special and fancy for that. So, hey, I see Spesh on the line. I see Boy Midas and Coyote. So it looks like we got the whole crew showing up. So,
yes, come on, Midas, because you said you have arrived. Yes,
very.
Yes, indeedy. Oh my God, that's my grandbaby.
So, how was your week, my love?
My week was really, really interesting. It was good. I can't really complain about anything. I have been still making moves and trying to make shit happen. Mm-hmm. And as I was just sharing with you, I'm going to share with the rest of you all. Listen, Starkeisha has taken on a second job. She don't have knees like Megan anymore, so she can't do these corners like that. So yada. I mean, we still got the body yada, but we just don't have knees like Megan though. So we took this little second job, and I am your local neighborhood Lyft driver. Mm-hmm. Yes. So we shall see how this goes. We're gonna try this out, see how it is. It's been pretty good. So far I've done my first couple people, and it's been pretty okay. The goal is to meet the goal that I have in my mind. Like I have some goals that I have set, and so that's my goal. My goal is to meet all the milestones that I have set for myself, and the end goal, as well as the smaller goals that I have to set those, and having set those, meeting them by these dates that I have set for myself. So that's the plan. But work has been good. My mama's birthday was yesterday, so I chit-chatted with her and laughed up a storm with her for just a few, and it's good. It's been a good week. I was able to spend some time with some of the brothers that came out, and just other family members that came out over the weekend. I'm sure you're going to talk about that. So I had a really good time with that as well, and it was just it's been a good week for me. So yeah, it's been a really good week. How about for you?
The week was good. Most of it was spent, just regular work stuff. Yesterday, as we're coming back from the holiday, someone from another project team, another PMO, was like, "Hey, Karen said that you were really excited about shadowing for us." I was like, excited is probably the wrong word.
Were you just so excited that you could spit?
Like it's something to do, but excited is, so we'll see. And I was like, well, so, we'll see what comes.
Come on, Tyra, for these words of encouragement. Oh my gosh. And making me feel good. Come on, girl, quit it. I'm doing a Vivian Green right now. I'm on an emotional roller coaster right now. Don't you start with that shit.
Wait a minute.
We're not doing that.
Last night I cried, tossed and turned, woke up with dry eyes, my mind was racing, feet were pacing. Lord help me, please tell me what I have gotten into. I had it on my list, but I forgot. I'm sorry, I forgot to give you your microphone.
Child, listen,
you could do it so that you just impromptu. When the spirit moves you.
And then jump into it.
Here it is. Oh yeah. So last week, I decided that I was going to have a little soiree for Memorial Day, do it like we used to do. So I thought it would just be nice to have a few people over and the first thing I'm going to say is I don't know how you was raised, but if I or Epic invites you over for a cookout, the first question you ask is, what?
What do you need?
Exactly. No one actually did this, but there were several people who showed up or were going to show up without bringing anything. Like they was really about to come over and eat all our food and drink up all our liquors and wasn't going to bring nothing. And when I say bring something, I tell you, there's like 20 or so people coming. So don't bring one chicken wing. Bring in proportion to what you want to eat. Now, I'm the host, so maybe I'm doing a little bit of the most, but I'd have cooked a bunch of shit. Langston sizzled up 5 whole fucking chickens and everything else. You made a big ass pan of some bomb. I mean, I thought my baked beans were good. Your baked beans were epic.
They were all right, but I appreciate that. But I will admit on the air, and we talk about this, but you are super uber organized. And so I think we even talked about this specifically, what not to bring. And I damn sure for whatever reason in my mind, I was like, bloop, this is what I'm bringing. And you were like, bitch, we have that. I was like,
and she bought a big ass pan of it too. But it is what it is.
Right. But again, it was that I will listen. I again have a lot of shit going on right now.
So. No, it's all good. But when I have a party, to avoid these situations, I always do a Google spreadsheet and say, write down what it is you bring, and then everybody can see it so that we don't get 50 people bringing fried chicken, or at least not fried chicken from Popeyes. Not that I don't like Popeyes, but I'm just saying so that everybody doesn't bring the same thing. So that's really sort of the preamble is, and yes, Midas, a bottle counts. Sometimes because also we have a few friends who don't drink. So I had purposely only made I made a fabulous homemade lemonade. I squoze like 2,000 lemons for this lemonade.
I was going to say, which was good because it was so tart. And I was like, there's not sugar, but wait, there is sugar. But I was like, okay, so it's like it gave me just enough sugar because how lemonade could be so sweet. Mm-hmm. But what I got out of the container was good. Yes.
And so I had a couple bottles of liquor, but it wasn't like a normal party because I see, Tyra, you will be on the invite for the next one. I am coming up with a list of people who are on the invite for the next one. This one was just, an old school, small little Onyx function. So we sort of kept it in the family to the pods that we normally hang out with. But next time,
I fucking love Tyra because I fucking love you, Tyra. Oh my God, I fucking love Tyra. oh, and I hear her.
I can hear the voice too.
Who come out your motherfucking time? Out your fucking time. You had the colorful potato salad and mac and cheese for our people.
Yes. So, but no, everything was good. You know, the food was good. Let me see. I sizzled up some, you know, my famous kale and mustard.
Let's not dash over this. When Arby's says they have the meats, listen, they may want to check with Dominion because that motherfucking steak was pretty goddamn good. Between the steak and the motherfucking chicken.
You know what the secret to the meats, to the steak is? Trader Joe's sells this seasoning called mushroom umami. So umami is considered the, what is it? Salty, sweet, blah, blah, blah. So it's the fifth taste. But
so
it's
salty, sweet, savory,
right. And so
spicy.
And umami is right. And so umami is one of those tastes, but it's like it makes meaty things taste meatier or whatever. So I use that and lime juice and, you know, cumin and a bunch of other shit. And so I just let that sizzle up and then, you know, Lynx threw it on the grill. And Lynx and that motherfucking jerk chicken that he made, I fucked up 2 of these wings. I had 2 of the drum yesterday and I was like, God damn. Even like stone cold, these wings, these drumettes were the fucking delicious. I mean, that motherfucker need to market that shit. I mean, it is that good.
It's really good. 15 minutes later, you still sitting there like this.
Right, like bitch, I'm like this.
I think I got a piece of spice over here somewhere. And
it'd be like a little taste treat, like a little like that's a piece in my cheek. That's a
it's good. So listen, Lynx, listen. Yes. That's what we're gonna say about that. Yes.
And you know, there were lots of good stuff. I made the potato salads. There was no shrimp in the potato salad.
I did not get to the potato salad for some reason. I got the macaroni and cheese, which was really good as well, but I did not get the potato salad.
Our brother Septime made the macaroni and cheese.
Okay, come on, mac and cheese. It was good.
And the potato salad was good. My sister sizzled up 2 cobblers, a peach cobbler and a mixed berry cobbler. You know, and as a sign of how much I love you girls, I let y'all eat my good ice cream.
Baby, listen, that cobbler was gone. When I looked at the tray, because I didn't go back, I didn't get anything sweet.
Destroyed that cobbler.
I was like,
they didn't destroy the mixed berry one because I mean it was good, but they fucked.
There was only corners left in that. It was like the edges or like the outskirts left of that I saw before I left.
So they wore that out. And, you know, so we just had a really good time, and it was good to have all of the kids together. I also found out that my skincare regimen ain't shit, you know, and I'm allowed to touch the hem of Anani's garment.
Baby, no way.
In one product. He was like, you use a product that's soap, shampoo, and face wash in one, baby, you would have thought I said Jesus is dead.
He was like,
he was so affronted by that.
Oh my God, it was an affront to the very delicacy of his nature, honey. He just could not get it together.
And then we started talking about our various beauty regimens, and he was like, and you were like, so how much did you spend on your beauty routine? And you said $500. And I was like, bitch, a month?
So yeah, we had to clarify.
I'm sorry. That sounded judgy, but I'm like, bitch, $500 a month is a lot.
So he clarified in that he sends, depending on the season and the beat and all that type of stuff, but on average, we got down to it was $200 a month. Because some months are higher, some months are lower. So we came around 200, and he was comfortable with that. So I was like, okay, but he was very, very specific.
I was still gagging because when I was like, well, girl, could you come up with a beauty routine for me? And I gave a number that I thought sounded generous. I was like,
yes.
Could you do a beauty routine for $50 a month? He was like, you would have thought I asked him to cut off one of his arms. And he was like, $50? $50? He was like, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. I could do it for $50. I was like, let's just be clear. I mean, I'm not going around here pretending like I have the best skin, but this skin has gotten me through 50 years with no wrinkles. And, I don't have a ton of blackouts or blackheads or breakouts or whatever. So, and I do use a clarifying toner and an oil-free moisturizer with sunscreen. But I was like, so I thought $50. I was like, bitch, that is like the clarifying toner that I use. I've had that bottle for like 4 months. And the moisturizer, that shit lasts for like 3 or 4 months too. So $50 a month is like 4 times the amount I would normally spend in a month for the shit. So I thought I was being generous.
Listen, but
Tyra said you need not a wash, a wash.
To his credit, he does have beautiful skin. I'm not going to sit back and say that.
His skin is fabulous.
He has beautiful skin, and you do as well. But again, it was a lot of, and I was just sitting there like, girl, this is more than my warm washcloth and my Neutrogena every couple, 2-3 days, and this is a lot, honey.
Right. He was like, well, a couple of those steps you can do in the shower. I was like, judge me if you want, girl, but since I work at home, I don't take a shower every day. I mean, I wash my face every day, but I do not get in the shower. From Monday to Friday, I probably get in the shower twice. I mean, judge me all the fuck you want. I mean, now, if I got to go out of the house, soap and water will hit my body. But if I'm just sitting here in the shower, sitting here in the house on the computer, and I ain't even got to turn the camera on, girl.
Yeah, like what's the point? Like, I mean, listen, if for work, if I put on a collared shirt and I comb my hair, that is sometimes the extent of what I'm going to do for that day. Now, what I will say is for myself, towards the end of the day, like I get this feeling of like, I don't want to get in the bed, not having taken a shower. So I'll do that. So it might be like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening and I'll finally take that shower for the day or whatever. So it's like, okay, cool. But there's been a couple days and, couple of weeks where I was like, yeah, not every single day, but like every other day or something like that. But I mean, it is what it is. But listen, I'm stewing in my own juices. I'm single. And even if I wasn't single, God damn it, I'm with somebody. Shit, they love my dirty draws and I love their dirty draws too. But whatever.
I mean, my slave literally does love it. Like whenever I take a shower, he was like, but why? Like, because girl, I said the undercarriage has become extra vinegary. So it is time for I got to go and pick the gold package when you go to the car wash. You want the foaming undercarriage wash. You want the Armor All wax. I want the whole buff and polish package.
Listen, Maximus, darling, it is not about forgiving anybody. It is a lot.
I already told him I thought them girls were still in Fort Lauderdale, which was why I didn't invite them.
Yeah, and it was a lot because I kind of got a little. We'll talk about that also, but I kind of got something else from somebody else, but we'll talk about that afterward. But anyway,
Is it somebody that I care about?
Huh?
Is it somebody that I care about?
Well, yeah, you do, but I mean, here's the thing. It's a lot. I mean, it's not that they would have made that much of a difference, but it's a lot of people, and sometimes you just friggin' forget. It's like blame it on my head and not my heart, and that's how it is at this particular point. And I'm not even necessarily speaking for you because you're a grown ass man, but again, I know how that actually can be because it's like, oh, I forgot to. Oh shit, fuck it. All right, whatever.
Right, and here's my last thing I will say on that is, if you ain't invited me over your house, don't be mad when I don't invite you over mine.
And we're walking.
So there's a lot going on. So let me see what else happened this week. Oh, I have really tried. But I did not get to see Cruella yet. So we'll put it on the list for next week.
Baby, I'm going to give you the Anani.
Right.
Okay, it's a challenge.
Exactly.
What I will say on that, it confirmed in my spirit all the way down to even to a molecular level that I am a gay man. Cause baby, the fashions, I was gagging. Like I watched the movie and I was like, I was gagging. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Are you sure? Are you sure it was just this show that finally confirmed that you were homosexual?
No, I didn't say confirm that I was a homosexual.
Okay.
You already know that I'm a homosexual.
Oh, okay, because I know it too.
But it just
I've seen you. Speaking of vinegary undercarriages, with the adventures that we have had.
Bitch, you know what? I can't even speak on that one. It's like, okay, all right.
But listen, okay. You have seen me in flagrante delicto a couple of times. Remember, we was in the room and you walked in. You was like, "Hey, oh!"
I was like, I'm gonna put my bag down. I'm gonna come back later on.
And but wait, like, oh, I'll come back. I was like, "Girl, you ain't gotta go. You know him. I can't."
No.
I knew who it was.
The Kiki, I know exactly what it was. The Kiki was when they responded. I was like, "Oh hey," and they were like with ball gag in mouth, and they were like, I was like, "Okay, I'll be right back. Bye." That was fucking hilarious. I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, freaking me nasty. We know it's all good. You know, we're just fucking with you. But yes, I am coming up with a more comprehensive list for the next one, which I think will be probably Labor Day, because there's just not a. First of all, it takes a lot of effort to put together a. I have exacting standards. Sometimes the girls just be like, "Oh, just come and put this chicken." I got plates for everything, so
yeah.
I do a lot when I put together parties. So, I won't be doing it but a couple of times a year. So, but I'm out of practice because
what you're saying is you practicing for the event, the one that you have that you become known for or noted for in the winter seasons. Is that what I'm understanding? This is the practice for that. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, this is practice for. I mean, I don't need practice. I just need, I got to warm, stretch a little bit, those muscles.
Okay.
But the lesson that I did learn from all of those, doing all of that cooking last year was prepping. So normally I would have been insanely tired because I would have spent all day
cooking
Sunday and then up early on Monday cooking. But the potato salad was done on Saturday. The baked beans was done on Saturday. The greens was all cleaned on Saturday and they were cooked on Sunday. So everything, all of the food was done by the time I got up on Monday morning. So I just had to clean a little bit of house.
Fucking Tyra. I love her. Listen. And on mine as well. So the next thing I have, I don't even know what the heck that's going to be, but definitely you are on the list. But I'm gonna go back a little bit. So Maximus, I'm not. So let me say this: is it worth your coins, darling? You will not be disappointed. And I can't even say that I would have spent the coins because I watched it with someone else who did spend the coins. But would I, for would I have spent it? Yeah, I probably would have. Would I have been upset about it? Probably not, because I've spent more money on less important and less impressive stuff. So I would have definitely been okay with it.
True. Yeah. So ultimately, it was a good weekend, and it's a lot to look forward to this month and see what's coming up. It's Pride Month for one, but it's not going to be quite as busy this year because since the world is still opening up, we're not going to be quite as busy as we used to, because I am not going out for Pride for nobody Pride this year, and they're not even having Folsom Street East. So
yeah,
I am going to Baltimore for some functions with some of the brothers, but no, I can't even do that because the function that I want to go to is the same day as the monthly education thing for Leather Leadership Conference, so I can't do that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, but he already knows. I already told. We talked yesterday, and I can't do that.
Okay, all right. November 14th. So listen, I understand the cost structure and the cost factor for that event, Tyra. So, baby, let me be clear. I would love to attend, but if I'm not invited, I wouldn't be mad because I already know that it's a lot that goes along in that. So, but baby, if there's an invitation that swings my way, darling, please. It gives me a something to put something on.
Wait a minute, what is November 14th? What's November 14th?
Do you don't see that wedding and that ring and that man in that picture? That woman in the wedding.
Oh, it's November 14th. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Just let me know your colors because I got a pair of dyeable pumps that I have been dying to wear.
I have been trained by the best to keep a Potissoir pump available to dye that thing all the way together. What's up? I have
the pump. I just need to know the colors. Is it blush and bashful? I just need to be ready for the color scheme so I can know what color I got to match my boutonniere and my cummerbund.
Listen. We listen, Tyra. I'm there. Like listen. We gonna make it happen. So I don't know what's going on at that point, but we're gonna make it happen. So yeah, come on,
Let's do it. Well, before we get to some of the fun stuff, I want to talk about a couple of shitty things that have happened in the world today. Florida became the 8th state to ban transgender girls and women in public secondary schools and colleges from participating on girls and women's sports team after their fuck-ass governor signed a restrictive measure into law today, or it was actually on Tuesday. So under the law, public secondary schools and college sports teams are required to be designated based on biological sex, thus prohibiting trans women and girls from participating on women's athletics teams. The bill defines, I'm not even going to go into this. It's just ridiculous. It's discriminatory. And it's entirely unnecessary. It's a problem that has no, there is not even one documented case of trans. I mean, I'm sure there are trans girls playing on boys' sports team, but this idea that Biff, the linebacker, is now suddenly Katrina and wants to play on the women's lacrosse team is a figment of their imagination. One, I'm not even saying that there's anything wrong with Biff wanting to become that, but this idea that trans women are these big buff dudes, I mean, this is their language, not mine, that they're these big buff dudes pretending so that they can get these trophies on women's teams and that they have this unfair advantage just doesn't happen like that. Are there some, I mean, we could look at Caitlyn Jenner. Yes. Are there some Caitlyn Jenners out there who literally used to be an Olympic athlete and she transitioned 40 years after the last time she ever ran in any sport. So this fantasy that, all of a sudden girls' locker rooms are going to be populated by dudes pretending to be women is homophobic, transphobic,
yes.
And ridiculous at best. And it's harmful to people. And you think about the fact that, Florida was the state where Pulse happened, which is one of the single largest mass shootings of people in this country. But, of course, they don't give a shit about that, because not only were most of the people that were killed at Pulse, gay, bisexual, or trans, but almost all of them were Black and brown. Mm-hmm. So they don't give a shit about them. So it's you know, they do all of this, but yet they don't want to do anything about the actual pedophiles that we have. Look at all of the Republicans, and I'm not even talking about old boy from, I guess it was Wyoming, who Craig, whatever his name was, who liked to do the bathroom trade, because that's just a gay man who likes other gay men. We're talking about men who actually prey on young girls, on actual children, but they want to be silent on those, but they want to talk about this imaginary crisis. So, you know,
it's sad that it's sad that you are trying to make those men and women who have transitioned to being their authentic self, making them feel like there's nothing that is good enough for them. Like, where's their space in the world? Where do they fit in at? And what can they do now that they have become themselves and they are living their 100% authentic lives and being their 100% authentic selves? You don't want them to be, you want them to identify themselves by the bathrooms that they actually use in public. You don't want them to play any of the intercollegiate and high school sports. What are the outlets? You don't necessarily want to, because here's the silent argument. You passive aggressively really don't want them out in public with you. You just kind of want them to hang out in the other clubs. But see, here's the thing. Their sexual orientation and their sexual and what their gender is are two different things. So that trans woman or that trans man is not necessarily gay because they are a man or they are a woman who likes the opposite sex. Right. And then there's some that like the same sex. So you're trying to, once again, put them into a box and keep them into this box, this nice little neat box that you can kind of shove under the bed even further and lock it so they can't come out. It's crippling. It's mentally crippling for those people, I can imagine. And it just makes you say, what the fuck is the part? What's the point? What is the point? I mean, there may be some people that may feel that way, and I feel bad that some people may feel that way. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sad about that. And they are in this the unfair and sad reality is Florida was the 8th state.
Right.
That's 8 states too many.
Right.
Sorry. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but then, you know, someone like Matt Gaetz, who, you know, has a problem, as boy might have said, you know, with underage girls, you know, no one wants to talk about that. No one wants to talk about the actual incidents of predatory behavior that we see. You know, people talk about how the House, you know, like the House of Representatives, the House floor is supposed to be like this sacred space. At least white people do, because you know how they be like, you know, this is a country, you know, they you know, during the riot in January, they violated it. But here this motherfucker is literally showing porn to people on the House floor. First of all, that's your workplace. So that's tacky from a workplace perspective to be showing pornography in it, because I mean, I am gay and you're gay, and you know, have we been places where we've seen porn, whatever, but just generally, I don't just be walking up to other gay men and be like, hey, look at this porn I got on my camera, or, you know, on my phone or whatever. And it's also a workplace.
Child, my colleague and he may be on the show tonight. My colleague and I, we have talked about many things, but baby, we do that after 3:30.
Exactly, not during the work, or at least at lunchtime or something.
Yeah, like we're not
in the break room. We don't do it while we're sitting around other people.
Right, like even if it was during the day, it's like it's a lunch break. We out of the office or something, but like we're not doing that. Like no, we're not doing that.
It's just tacky. Well, it's beyond tacky. It's depending on the level, it's criminal. So what's also criminal is that the remains of 215 children were found at a former indigenous school site in Canada. So some of the children were as young as 3 years old, were found on the site of a former residential school called Kamloops Indian Residential School in British Columbia. It closed in 1978. According to, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this First Nation's name, but the remains were found with the help of ground penetrating radar. So for those of you that don't know, the Canada's residential school system, which forcibly separated Indigenous children from their families, constituted cultural genocide, according to a 6-year investigation that concluded in 2015. The report documented horrible physical abuse, rape, malnutrition, and other atrocities suffered by many of the 150,000 children who attended the schools, typically run by Christian churches, on behalf of the Ottawa government from the 1840s to the 1990s. It found that more than 4,100 children died while attending residential school. The deaths of 215 children were found at what was once Canada's largest residential school. So in 2008, the Canadian government formally apologized for the system. So
did they give the tribes or they were?
Yeah, it's the name of the tribe is the slub. Come on now, hold on. I'm just gonna copy it and then paste it into the chat.
It'd be interesting just to. Oh,
that's the name exactly. So I'm not even trying to be funny. I mean, this is a lot of
Tecumloops.
Yes. So that's the name of the tribe. So yeah. So and I apologize to any First Nations people. We are not, making fun of or whatever. It's just an unfamiliar pronunciation. So, our deepest sympathies and condolences go out to all of those people, all of those nations, because 4,100 people, at least 4,100 people never made it to adulthood after going to those schools. And they were forcibly separated, based on some old Christian ass bullshit. And then they were mutilated, raped, harmed, killed, all sorts of horrible things that went on there. And again, it's important to note that these schools were functioning from the 1840s all the way to the 1990s. So that means that everyone who is listening to this show, either live now or will watch it later on YouTube, just about every person seeing this were alive then. So, sometimes it's easy to say, oh, girl, that shit was in the 1850s,
No.
I'm sorry about it, but there's really nothing we can do about it. In the 1990s, so that means there are lots of people alive now who suffered through those schools that would have been our peers.
Yeah, would have been our peers and everything. And I don't even. And again, I am not a expert on our brothers and sisters, our Native American brothers and sisters, but this is a tribe's name that I've never heard of. And it would be interesting to find out just more about them. So this is something for me. I just want to look at, and I want to see I want to look them up just to kind of see what this is, as far as what the tribe was like, what their customs were. Just interesting to me because, I think everybody does this thing of like, oh, I had this person in my family and that person in my family, and I got part this and part that. But for me, it really is a direct connect because my father's mother, and so I'm just like, what? This is interesting. So I want to check that out.
So in more positive news, a boat exploded after passengers were harassing a family who had a pride flag. So tell us about that.
Listen, come through. Listen, happy Pride. So
get into it, girl.
Right. So Newsweek flagged a viral story that was making rounds on Twitter as well as on TikTok. So instant karma befell 3 boaters who harassed a family sailing with a gay pride flag on Moses Lake in Washington. Twitter user Retro Yushi, who identifies as trans and queer, told the story on social media and said, these people harassed my family because we were flying gay pride flags in Moses Lake, Washington, by racing around us and shouting gay slurs. Then their boat literally blew up. And then they posted hashtag karma is real, reported by Saren Morris. They added that just one more tidbit to really drive the karma in there. The driver literally shit his pants, and everyone saw when his shorts fell off in the water. Happy Pride!
Right. Now, listen, I would have. Listen, we sitting there in our rowboat, just chilling, you know, having our little Pride celebration. Like, woo, cocktails. Or whatever.
Wait a minute. Did you see his shorts? Is that?
Wait a minute. You're like, girl, did they both just blow up?
But wait, did you see
sucks to be you?
and then you really throw salt in the wound, stand up on the boat and just throw hands.
Right. I'd have been like, get into it, bitch. Listen.
Right.
See, but, that was entirely unnecessary. You know, see how God don't like ugly?
Yeah, it was. Now, they said that ultimately the offending boaters were rescued and the police doused the fire after the vessel had been charred black. But according to Retro Yushi, the most likely cause of the fire was that they were driving around us so roughly, they either damaged their carburetor or took in water and stalled. The fumes built up, and then they tried to speed away, and the fumes ignited. So once again, like was said, karma is real. Karma is a bitch. So happy Pride.
Right. You know, maybe this will teach you a lesson. It will not.
Well, we can only hope for the best. So
it will not. I guarantee it won't. All they'll do is, it won't change because, you know, that would require a bit of introspection and whatever, that if they had that level of introspection and respect for others, they never would have done that in the first place. Because, you know, that was an entirely unnecessary confrontation. Because it's one thing if you're like, I don't even know when there's a good reason to harass gay people or trans people, but I'm just saying, you know, y'all out on the boat living your life, they out on the boat living their life. You know, there was no reason for you all to have any interaction. So this is some shit that is entirely your fault, but they're never going to learn a lesson from it. So.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing. Speaking of introspection, and we talk about social media, lately there's been a young lady who's been trending. Her name is Ellie Goldstein, and she's been popping up on social media again as of lately. Ellie Goldstein is trending on social media because she was the first Gucci model with Down syndrome. And so Ellie grew up in Ilford, Essex. And at 18 years old, she always wanted to become famous. She talks about in her article that she did for Vogue that she loves attention, and she because of the Vogue spread that they did for her, she now has lots of attention that's coming for her. They did a special editorial for Gucci Beauty in partnership with Vogue Italia, and all eyes were focusing on her. Listen. This is one shot from that magazine. Miss Ellie is serving the kids because she also does a shot. I don't know if you have this one here, but where she's in this taupe or flesh or almost nude color dress, and she's holding this like lipstick tube or whatever. Miss Ellie is turning the party. So, and I didn't even know that yes, Miss Ellie is turning the party. She's standing there like, happy Pride. So I for me, it was recognition of our siblings that are across the world and across the spectrum, that we all have differences, but we are all the same. And so again, shout out to Gucci for having this model with Down syndrome, and for her specifically being the first with Down syndrome with Gucci. So again, it was one of those things where I hadn't heard of it. I hadn't even seen the ad for it, but you know what? She was trending on social media and I found it very damn interesting. And I thought it was something we need to mention in this show. So for those of us that may have people in our family, listen, this is someone to look for. And I'm now looking for her whenever I see her in any sort of fashion magazine. I need to see what else she's doing.
Yeah, you know, I'm excited to see what life brings for her. So good for her. So in Mississippi, West Point, Mississippi. Listen, I know Lynx is from Mississippi, but girl, I have zero desire to go to Mississippi for anything, and this just continues to reinforce it. I remember when we went to Memphis. We were coming from Tallahassee. We were going to Memphis for our fraternity's convention, and the route we took us, through Alabama and through Mississippi to get to Memphis, Tennessee. And child, I guess we didn't really pay attention to the maps. But girl, when we realized that we was on a road that was going to take us to Mississippi and it was going to be late at night, I was like, girl, I mean, Mississippi and Alabama. But I was like, well, I have family in Alabama. So I was like, all right, child, we filled up with gas. I was like, make sure you go to the bathroom. Make sure you do everything you need to do, because once we cross the line in Mississippi, we will not get out this car for nothing.
Do not stop. Baby, I remember we were driving to California with my mama. My mother said to me when we got in that car, she said, listen, we are going across some states that I'm going to need you to sit your ass in this back seat and do not wave to anybody. Do not speak to anybody. Look straight ahead while we drive through these states. And right. I was like, girl. So I can't even imagine Jackson, Mississippi, or any Alabama. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Right. No, ma'am. And at night too. No, ma'am.
Right. No, so in West Point, Mississippi, a school district is under fire for making a controversial last-minute change to its class ranking system. The West Point Consolidated School District announced that two black women who had been named the class of 21's valedictorian and salutatorian, they announced that they had been named. Ikeria Washington will be valedictorian, and Layla Temple was named salutatorian. That was on a Monday, but then on Thursday, just hours before the graduation, the school made a change. In a now deleted Facebook post, the school said there are two methods to determine a student's class rank: quality point average, or QPA, and grade point average, GPA. The school claims Washington and Temple had the highest QPA. Therefore, the school would also be recognizing the two students with the highest GPA, who were, of course, not black. And we all know that's some bullshit. First of all, in my entire 50 years, I have never heard of a QPA. It's only GPA.
So, but let me tell you what that is. And you know what this is. The QPA is, again, the difficulty of the level of course that you've taken. But all of that gets factored. But
that's usually factored in the GPA.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's factored into your GPA at the end. So whether you use their quality point average or their GPA, those two young ladies still should have been valedictorian and salutatorian. It doesn't make any sense. It just the only way that could have possibly happened in my mind in any sort of way is that they waited in maybe in the last 1 or 2 years of classes to take these these higher level classes. But here's the thing, that again would have raised their GPA. So I just, this story is just not making sense to me. And it screams, you are not good enough because you do not look like what you should look like. So we are going to.
It's lowering the bar
to acknowledge you, but that's it.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, no, but that's it.
It's lowering the bar to accommodate white mediocrity. We see it all the time. We see it with Simone Biles, who did the most difficult vault ever accomplished by any human being, and because other white girls can't do it,
so she was the first female to do it in a competition,
right? And since no one else can do it, she's being penalized and say, well, you shouldn't do that. Well, why shouldn't she be able to do? I mean, that is the entire purpose of sports,
right?
And I mean, so I won't say that's the entire purpose of sports, but that's the whole, it is. I mean, it's the whole purpose of the Olympics is that someone sets a record, and someone sets a record because they can do some shit that no one else can do. No one ever told Michael Phelps not to swim as fast as he did because other people can't swim as fast as he did. Michael would get in the water and Michael will be finished. It'd be like a 4-lap race. Michael will be finished the race and out of the water and dried off while these other hoes are just finishing lap 3. But no one would tell Michael Phelps to get out of the water because other people can't swim as fast as he did. So why should these girls be penalized because none of the white students were as smart or as capable or as accomplished? And as you might expect, the school has received a backlash and has since deactivated all of its social media accounts. Baby, let me tell you, I would wait. I can't wait to see 10 years from now when Dr. Akiria Washington and Dr. Layla Temple come back to the class reunion and, Mr. Dominic Borgioli and Miss Emma Berry are, working at the Waffle House and Whataburger. Okay, girl, but you had the highest GPA, but what did that really get you? Because listen, if it's a competition, first of all, they shouldn't have been. It's cute to do that. And if that was always the criteria that you're going to recognize the two people with the highest QPA and GPA, then that's cool. But this is literally hours before graduation. So this can't be, because you can't have just now realized this.
My feelings on this entire situation is, while they may have forgotten the process or may have even done it incorrectly, here's the thing. You need to understand the impact of what you are doing. And if you can't figure that out, that's a problem. I just don't see how you could even justify saying, we're going to go ahead and announce these other two people and acknowledge both of them, and not see that there's going to be repercussions on other people that may want to attend.
They
or other
live in fucking West Point, Mississippi, and they think that them niggas is just going to sit there and take it. But as all non-people of color, particularly non-black people, are increasingly finding out, is that we are not with the shits, and we are not going to sit around and do whatever. These girls obviously work their asses off. And listen, no shade. I mean, I'm not even personally mad at Dominic and Emma, because if they got the highest GPA, I mean, it's not like these kids are dumb. So, it's not like they are recognizing some kids with 2.0s along with people with the highest GPA. But bitch, in the competition, you didn't win. And that's just what it is. You just didn't win. That doesn't mean that you're not worthy. You just didn't win. And listen, let me tell you, I can't even remember who the fuck the class valedictorian of our classes were because, so many people. I graduated in the top 2% of my class with a 3.8 GPA. We had people in our class had like a 4.5 GPA because they was already taking college classes and stuff. So, girl, if you had the third and fourth highest GPAs in the school, it doesn't mean you're dumb, but this whole system is bullshit.
And so, once again, the same for me. My high school, I told you about my high school, it was very small. I had 28 people in my graduating class. Mm-hmm. Out of 28 people, I graduated 26, but I had a 90.8 GPA. So it was like, what the? We were all taking difficult classes, but these bitches still did better. And I'm fine with that. That does not mean that none of these bitches are brain surgeons and I'm not. Listen, my godson's mother is a doctor. We talk all the time about chemistry, and I fucking hated chemistry.
Right.
Fuck. Ugh.
Anyway, so on a much more positive note, Mary J. Blige is exploring the impact of her acclaimed album, My Life, in the trailer for a new documentary. So let's see if we can
take a look at that. Take a look at that ad.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. I just gotta make it happen.
No. I was just adding to it.
No, keep talking.
But so anyway, but Puffy is involved in this as well, and he's
then that's foolishness.
He's executive producer as well as along.
Who money he done stole?
You said what?
Who money he done stole?
This documentary is going to be released this month for Black Music Month in June, which is also Happy Pride Month. But it's going to be released June 25th on Amazon Prime. And listen, The trailer for it looks amazing. So listen, just let Mary just sing it. Just let us hum a few bars. Let us see what it's all about.
Ooh, going down. The only thing I think that kept us guided was the music. My whole world's upside down. It just saved you. Global superstar, double Oscar nominee, 9 Grammy Awards, the queen of hip hop and R&B, Mary J. Blige. Real love. Nobody sounds like her. When Mary sang, I heard the pain of a generation. In the neighborhood we lived in, it's like prison. There was a lot wrong, and there was a lot I needed to get out. That's why I had that pen. Sleep don't come easy. My life is probably my darkest album. At one of the darkest times I've had. Most of the times I was just depressed and didn't want to live. I had it all inside and I was able to sing it and write it. I didn't know that so many people felt the same way. She made it okay for people to say it's all right to be me. We still don't get to see that a lot, you know? Still. Ooh, baby. If you're here tonight and you're a Mary J. Blige fan, I'm going down. You have been tested, you have been tried, and you have been proven. A lot of young black women could relate to where she came from. She gave us a face, she gave us a name. She did something really powerful by inspiring each other to want to live to see another day.
Listen, I am here for this.
Sorry, don't nobody care about this part.
Yeah, I'm here for this. Like I'm here for it. I rise with Mary. I fucks with Mary, and I fucks with her for several reasons. I feel like she's our age. She represents a time period that was amazing for me. I don't know about for you, but it was amazing for me because when What's the 411 came out, that was the first gay pride I spent in the Washington D.C. area, and baby, it was pumping, it was on and popping and crack-a-lacking. Because this motherfucker right here, baby, I was like, what's the 411? You gotta go in, you gotta go. And I also, it's a sentimental reason because her birthday is the same day as my sister's, and so that's one of those relationships, and I've talked about that. It's one of those relationships where she was 11 years older than me, and I didn't feel like I could figure out who the hell she was. I didn't know how to relate to her, but something about Mary and on that date, and even though she's my age, I fucks with her. So I'm here for it. I'm cheering her on. Good for you, Mary.
Yes, definitely. I'm very excited to see it. And hell yeah, what's the 411 changed? Like, it was like, yeah, there was, there were other people that I was into, but I feel like, because that came out in 1991, so we were 20 years old. And it really took off in 92. But I remember it was 1991 because we had driven up on a bus from Tallahassee, from FAMU to Howard to go to an architecture students convention. And we just listened to that. Imagine a bus full of 45 Negroes, just listening to this cassette over and over and over again on this bus. So that was really the first album of my young adulthood. So then it was Mary J. Blige, and then so like Puffy, yes, did that sound of that decade, but yes, 411, baby, I wore all of the letters over that cassette. I had to put a piece of tape on one side so that I could tell side A, side B. Yes, bitch. Let me tell you, and I replaced it several times. One time that bitch popped in the machine, I was like, oh.
That's baby,
you had to run right out to the record store to Kent Mills and get
man. You opened up the cassette with the small screwdrivers, and you pulled that piece of tape out and saw where it popped, and you placed that thing in there over so gently, and you dubbed it, and it went through. Listen, I got to be the master at that. I was like taping everything.
I'm bougie. I just bought a new one.
Listen, I ain't had no money in 1991. I was still in school. Matter of fact, I think I just came offline, so I was like, I got no damn money.
Right. So yeah. So what's the 411 and My Life? Were yes,
they were amazing.
Very much part of the soundtrack to my young adulthood.
Yes. So we also had a little bit of news about American Horror Story. I found a trailer for American Horror. Now, let me be clear. The American Horror Story, we already know that it's going to be it's set to come out. It's going to be 2 seasons in one, in the sense that it's going to be Ryan Murphy said there's going to be a version by land and a version by sea. And so this is all tying in together to give it 2 seasons in one. This, and I've seen several fan-made trailers for American Horror Story, but this one, for some reason, along with the pictures that I've seen and everything else that's going on, this one it's touching me. I'm feeling this trailer. So just wanted to show this to y'all. Can you cue this one up?
I'm queuing it up now.
I need y'all to get into this because American Horror Story is one of my faves, and I feel like it's definitely needs to be. Listen, I'm here for it. So I don't, we have our girl, Angelica Ross is going to be in it. They're bringing back several of the cast. Miss Myrtle Snow is coming back for this season as well. Not as Myrtle Snow, but of course, but as Frances Conroy. So this season brings back a couple other people. Even the mom from the first season from Murder House is coming. Mm-hmm. Connie Britton. She's coming back. So I'm interested in seeing what this is. And Macaulay Culkin's supposed to be in this one as well. Macaulay is a little touched and he's a little crazy. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So I come on, American Horror Story. Y'all better bring it, give it to me. Because please don't let this be, this is the 10th season. Please don't let this be Cult or Roanoke for me. Because I'm going to be so pissed off. I'm going to be
upset. Huh? Well, all right. So, now it's time to get into our 2 favorite topics of the moment. We want to do legendary first.
Come on. So you want to be a legend?
You want to be a statement?
You want to be a statement?
A star.
You want to be a star? Huh.
So season 2.
All I really want to be is a statement or a star or a legendary. Huh. Legendary. Oh.
So this was episode 6, which was Plastic Fantastic, and the guest judge was Amaya Scott.
Yes.
So I was excited. I'm always excited by them.
Yeah, Amaya was, so for any of you that may not know who Amaya was actually in Star, I think it was. And Amaya she's one of the girls that is out here doing her shit. So I'm not even mad at her. Go ahead, Amaya, you were doing your shit.
Yes,
absolutely. And she's the mother of the house of God. It's on the tip of my tongue and it just left. Magella, I think it is. Mm-hmm. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So there were 3 parts to it. So there was Plastic Fantastic, which was dressing as toys essentially of some sort, one sort or another. Then there was European Runway as a unit, and then Team Duck Walk. So let's start with Plastic Fantastic. So what do we think about Miyake Mugler? They were Rainbow Kids.
So I thought that they were okay, but one of the things for me was that it was. Do I want to use the word basic? It was okay. Like I just it was okay. That's all I got for it. Like it was. That's all I got.
We were not moved.
I was not. So I've always assumed the position of the Russian judge. And so,
right.
I'm no longer going to assume the position of the Russian judge. I'm going to assume the position of Law Roach. And what I'm going to say is it was playful, but it was meh, but it was playful. So that's all I got. That's all I got for it.
Same. Garcon with the toy cars. I like that they did feel like a transformer. I mean, so it was like well thought out, but Tonka is still underwhelming. I'm like, girl, this could have been your big body Benz moment. You could have come out as Optimus Prime. You could have really worked this out where being, big, not that it's never a disadvantage, but you could have really used your body size and your physicality to your advantage, and you did not. So, and I agree with Jamila. There wasn't a lot of floor performance, and that was the thing. In Plastic Fantastic, there was supposed to be significant elements of floor performance.
And floor performance is anything on that. So when you drop down on that floor and you are given pussy, ooh, you need to be doing that on the floor. Right. Your legs, your arms, your body, your dips, your spins, all of that needs to be on the floor. And there was none for me. That's how I wrote. There was none for me. It didn't give what it should have gave.
Not at all. So Balenciaga were life-size paper dolls. I thought they looked good, but I was not as impressed as the judges were.
Yeah, so for me, I felt like it was just basic. Now I'm also a fan of Honey, and she's not there. I hope she's okay. I hope she comes back, but that just pissed me off that she wasn't there. So it was basic for me.
Listen, what was the Honey is the David Ruffin of the Balenciagas. It's like, anybody coming to see you, Otis?
Listen, and see, and I know these are just our opinions because I see Coyote chiming in saying he thought Mugler was the shit this week. They were playing.
Right. I disagree, but I mean, this is why everyone's opinion is valid. I mean, it's artistry. So, if they really spark something in your soul, then, good. I'm happy for you. So,
okay. There you go.
So Tishi did Toy Soldiers. Mother walked in Beyonce. I felt like when she walked in, she was giving me very Beyonce vibes when she pumped in, and I thought the performance was really good.
So I love Tishi, and I'm not going to say this was a bad performance because it was not a bad performance. Let me be clear, but this was not as good as the other performances I've seen of Tishi.
I agree with that. I still thought it was probably the best performance in this segment, though.
Okay.
I tell you who I didn't care for. I did not care for the Orichi's marionettes. I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate any of them, but it felt a little disjointed to me.
The only thing I liked about this one was I liked the visual part of it as opposed to the performance. Like I liked their look. That's what I liked. Their performance didn't do anything for me.
Yeah. So then, another thing to note about this episode was that it was a money ball.
Yes.
And also points were not being announced until after the conclusion.
Yes.
No one was going home this week. So next we had European runway as a unit. So Miyake got a chop. It was Malik and Arturo Mugler. Here's my thing. None of them were 100% in sync.
So, okay. So here's the thing about European runway.
Please explain to us you are the expert. You are when you know how when they have at the Olympics when they do the figure skating and they have Scott Hamilton come out and talk about, well, you see the difficulty of this, they should be getting a 10, and then he's like, Oh, that's a 10th of a point deduction. Really? Well, she did not.
So listen, okay. So here's where I am with this. European runway is so for any to give you a visual what European runway should be like. When Naomi Campbell walks down the runway, she's giving you like a European runway look. It is very slinky, but you're giving it feminine, but you're giving like that's very European. Like you're taking long strides, like that's what you're doing. And there's another form of runway called American runway, which is if you think of all the Ralph Lauren or Calvin Klein models where they're just standing there, they're stick models and just walking and looking, and the guys will come up and just give you a little bit of like pops, turn a little bit, like almost looking like they're in a catalog model. That's more of the American runway type of situation. And so this European runway thing, when they're doing it as a house or as a team runway, or which is from what I remember, what was called when I was in the ballroom scene was tag team runway. So a lot of that was in sync. And baby, when I tell you you need to be in sync, you need to be in sync. So I was a little thrown off with the European runway versus tag team performance. So that kind of threw me off. But I agree with you. A lot of the many of the houses were not in sync all the time because even Tishi, who I thought was good, they stumbled trying to catch their footing. But when they got it. But it was only for like a couple of seconds that they kept it together. So so
Miyake got the chop. Garçon got the chop. It was Egypt, Tonka, and Stasha. Balenciaga had immunity, but it was Cha-Cha and Shannon. Chi-Chi got 10s, even though Gia was on a different step. It's true. I just felt like Gia, I agree with you with the hairspray. It was cute.
So that hairspray trick is one old ballroom trick, honey, where you spray either water or hairspray or even the fans, or even you just come through with the hands. And sometimes people even had walls. Like it's amazing. And I mean, I give her points for bringing it, but I was just like, all right, girl.
Right. Orichi's got 10s as well. It was Karma and Gillette. So this one with European, it was either 10s or chops. So everybody, you either got a 10 or a chop, and then they finally sort of worked down to who it was. And then so the process of elimination, it was Cha-Cha versus Gillette, Gia versus Cha-Cha, and then Cha-Cha won.
And Cha-Cha won 5,000 for
Balenciaga.
Yeah, for Balenciaga, yes.
Then they had Team Duck Walk. And I was like, bitch, I was tired just watching it. Because you had the duck walk first, you duck walked, and then it was a duck walk against somebody else until you won. So
wait a minute, hold up. Louboutin, let me stop you right there, baby. My little brother, my child, whatever he wants to call himself today, Desmond, who pops in here every so often. Baby, when I tell you we walk exactly alike and we are nowhere near the same size, but baby, when we walk together, you see it. So your size and shape, while that can add to the visual, the walk should still be the same. I'll keep
right, and that was definitely a problem with Egypt, Tonka, and Stasha, because I feel like Egypt and Stasha was just like pumping it through, and Tonka was just not on the same step with them.
So for me, Stasha needs to not. First of all, I can't stand somebody that walks in heels and their knees are crooked, like their knees are bent. Like, listen, if there's any Beehive fans in here, I love Beyonce and I love her music and everything. But baby, when Beyonce walks, she can't walk in heels. Her knees are always crooked, but she dances her ass off in some heels. Now, listen, she's gotten better over the years, but baby girl can't walk in heels. And Stasha, for me, should not have walked. If they were going to play it correctly, if you ask me, put Tonka in the middle and let Tonka start the pace and everybody follow her. That's what would have put them together. So, yeah.
Right. So that's that. So now for Team Duck Walk, Mugler got their 10s. It was Tati. Garçon got a 10. It was Savion Milan. Balenciaga got a chop. It was Jupiter. Tishi got a 10. It was Trey and Simone. Orichi got a 10, and it was Amari. So then the duck walk was Tichi versus Orichi, Garçon versus Tichi, Tichi versus Mugler, and Simone Tichi won with $5,000. And baby, she carried it throughout the whole thing.
Listen, Simone Tichy is a beautiful girl, honey. She is a beautiful girl, honey. She is a beautiful girl. Oh my God, she's a beautiful girl. Beautiful girl.
Is there something that you wanted to add to that?
That's it. That's all. Oh. She's a beautiful girl. That is, I can't even. That's she's a beautiful girl. Like I would.
So the final score was over the night was 34 points for Garçon, 39 for Orici, 46 with Mugler. Balenciaga had 48 points and also won $5,000 in the night. And Tichy won $15,000 with 49 points. And so they were, I don't think there was a superior house this year. It was just a money ball.
So, well, yes, I put them at, well, actually they did steal the trophy that evening for superior house though.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So, okay.
Yeah. And now correct me if I'm wrong, because that's when they had the trophy. I thought that's what the trophy was for, because they were holding it.
Okay. Well then, yeah, I just didn't write that down. Okay. Well, cool. Okay. So, you know, it's hard to believe we are more than halfway through the season. We started with what, 10 houses, and now we're down to 6.
Yeah, no, like
we're down to 5 houses.
We're down to 5 houses now, and but it's interesting to see what's going to happen next week. I feel like there's going to be a double chop next week for some reason. I don't know why. And then it's going to be a battle of the 3 houses. So I don't know. I don't know.
All right, so you know, I didn't get a chance to watch Pose Sunday night like everybody else did, right? So I was meticulously avoiding everything about it so that I didn't have to kill nobody. But I'm just going to pause and say, listen, girls, it is no one's responsibility to not live their life because you can't watch something. So I can't be mad if I happen to stumble across, you know, someone's page and they talk about what was going to happen. First of all, what surprises was there? We knew Angel and Poppy were going to get married. I mean, was that ever in doubt? First of all, they didn't show them pictures from the fucking wedding. That was part of the promo. So we saw that. So I just don't get wrapped up in that. But I really didn't want to know all of the details. So I sort of avoided the internet. But baby, when I watched that shit last night, I was like,
a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. Listen, the pollen count was very high since Sunday. It was a lot.
Shit in my room, baby. So what we find out as the show starts that Pray Tell has lived long past that 6 months that they initially gave him, but now he's starting to go blind in one eye, which according to the doctor is the beginning of the end. And as you recall, that's what happened. Who was the Latino guy that he dated like in the first season that died of AIDS? That was what happened with Cubby. So, you know, blindness was definitely something that sort of came and, you know, took a lot of people. So that was really sort of the beginning of the end. And it seems like next week with the series finale, that it's going to, his death is going to be, you know, sort of one of the main events of the episode. So, you know,
I'm sad that we're here already. I know.
It was like, oh God,
I'm so sad. I don't know if I'm ready for
a couple more episodes.
Yeah,
and
like, I don't know.
I'm still not clear on the reason why the show has to end.
I'm not ready for it. I'm just not ready for it. Not yet. But I mean, it's okay. I mean, I'm
right. I mean, you know, all good things must end. So,
yeah.
Bianca, Pray made a dress for Blanca, which was a beautiful dress. And Pray talked about his dream of starting a fashion house, you know, when he came to New York, that never really sort of came to Pray Couture. And that led into a conversation about him wanting a panel. Costas was the guy that died. Wanting a panel for the AIDS quilt. And now that he was at death's door, he finally understood the importance of wanting to have a panel to memorialize your life and, you know, the impact that you had on the world. So also Angel is still upset about Poppy's new baby, and Blanca and Ricky was like, bitch,
Get your shit together.
Do not get your shit together. Poppy loves you and wants to marry you and raise a child with you. And Blanca put it together. She was like, bitch, how the fuck else did you think he was going to have a child? I mean, she really just sort of cut through the chase because that was what I was thinking, but I didn't think it was my place as a cisgender man to bring it up. But I was like, bitch, I mean, you know, it's not like you can, I mean, there's other than adopting, I'm not even sure how, I mean, I'm not sure. There is no other way that you could have kids. So I feel like you got a ready-made child with the man that you love. It's not some stranger's child or whatever. So
right.
Get into it. And then she went to visit her father, and apparently they have some sort of relationship, but it's really more of a transactional relationship where she has been providing money to him all of these years, but he never really sort of accepted her. And she really came thinking that she would ask him to walk her down the aisle. And she finally realized, she had that same realization that Electra did all those years ago. It was like, listen, bitch, I'm a woman. I am not a man in a dress. I am not gay. Indeed. I am a woman.
Yes, indeed. Now, but again, so one of the things for me that I realized with this episode was that as a parent, I'm not condoning what he did or how he reacted, but one of the things that I realized was that he was loving her the only way he knew how to love her. And it was sad because she was disappointed. She was disappointed, and not because of him not loving her, but because she felt he didn't love her the way she wanted to be loved.
He didn't love her as a woman. He still saw her as his little boy. He even said, well, and remember, this is 1996, so gay marriage wasn't legal then. He was like, so two dudes, he literally said 2 dudes can't get married.
And he was trying to prepare her, saying, what are you going to do when you go down there and they see that on your birth certificate and just 2 men? It's like, he's like, I'm just trying to prepare you for the world. And she was just like, she's like, I don't need you to prepare me for anything. I just need you to be my dad and just hold my hand and just be there for me. That's it. And I was like, okay. But once again, you're trying to make him love you the way you feel like he should love you. And he's trying to love you the best way that he knows how. But
I mean, I will give him a little bit of slack, but I mean,
I don't know if it's slack or if it's just reality. Like I think if we stop making the assumption that people are going to do what we want them to do or what we feel that they should do, and we just realize what they're doing is what they can do, I think a lot of people would probably not have so much angst towards other people. Just my opinion. And I think that's what he was doing. So when she kissed him on the forehead and was like, she made that comment about, I've been paying for your love. This is what I've been paying for this love and this approval all this time. And I have this man who loves me for who I am and doing it for free.
Right. So she finally came to realize, what she had in Poppy, and when what's the boy's name? Beto. Mm-hmm. Beto, she was like, so will you welcome me and everything? And little boy was like, you want some pancakes? And I was like, oh! from the mouth of babes.
Listen, it was a lot going on.
They picked the cutest little boy to play that role.
He was a doll. He's a doll.
I wanted to eat him up. Oh my God!
Doll baby. When they went down to the marriage, now see, I laugh about this all the time. And so, when Poppy is such a charismatic person, and all he needs you to do is just be there with him and just take these cues that he's going to throw at you. He was like, "Hey, mama, how you doing? Oh my God, we're so excited to be here. Yes,
Dominican. Oh yeah,
You from the Dominican Republic? Yes, I'm from the Dominican. You Dominican? Oh, yes, probably to see my son. So listen, he was stringing her along, and all she had to do was just stand there, be present,
and look pretty,
smile, and look pretty. That's it. And when she looked at that birth certificate, that passport, she said, "Oh, I almost overlooked that. Okay, well, sign right here," because she was already enamored with everything. So it was like, listen,
I don't think she's. I mean, they didn't really clarify, but I think that she literally, that was just. She was like, I don't think she really looked at it because she really did not see. Yeah, but listen, I'm not trying to be Angel's father, but it wasn't. It was not legal. So to me, that seemed like the least realistic part. All the other stuff, like the millions of dollars that Elektra spent on this wedding, that all seemed realistic and possible, but it just seemed kind of unrealistic that a person whose job it is to review wedding applications and to ask for IDs and make sure that you're the person who's here and there wouldn't notice something as big as your birth certificate or your passport says male on it.
Let me tell you something.
Never having gotten married, so I mean, I could be entirely wrong. Maybe they just like, girl, I don't give a fuck. So
yeah, I will say this. As a person that at one particular point was certifying your loans for like your federal student loans, for your direct student loan, and also for your plus loans, there were times that I was kind of like, let me just go ahead and certify your shit.
Right. It's just not even worth the hassle.
So, but I don't know if that's where she was, if that's what she did, you know what I mean? But I also
go ahead.
But I was also the same person that once you got past the last day of the actual term of enrollment and you hadn't turned in your documentation and I hadn't certified your loan before that last day of the term, I can't do anything else for you. But if you piss me off 2 days before or the day of, I might have taken your application and did like this.
Oh, so you're that bitch. He's like, love it. What up? But before they get to that, it was so funny when Elektra, Lulu, and Blanca were talking about the venue. And Lulu, first of all, can we pause and talk about how Lulu motherfucking extravaganza's hair was fucking laid the whole episode? I was like, this bitch. I mean, I always saw Lulu as a gorgeous woman, but she was fucking flawed whole episode. And when Lulu was like, she laid out some bullshit. She was like, you don't need to do all of this. And Elektra's like, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. It was like, as much money as I have spent on this whole thing, but you are going to walk down there and all they're going to see is a woman. And that's what it is. And you're right. You know, all she had to do was stand there and look pretty and be the shy, blushing bride. And listen, Poppy got even luckier because the woman was Dominican. And so they were already conditioned to see her as, you know, the blushing, submissive Latina bride. And, you know, this man with all this swagger was just going to walk in there and be like, you know, me and my bride, you know, we already got a son, you know, we going to do all of this and we going to listen, baby. She carried it. She really was giving Jessica Rabbit. Lulu was really giving Jessica Rabbit the whole show.
She did get that hair. But listen, that whole thing, and this is how, and so Maximus is on here too, but this is how when we went to Hershey Park that time, I was sitting there talking to the woman. I was just listening. I was chatting her ass up. I was like, she was like, come to the side window. I was like, what? She was like, listen, you made me laugh today, so I'm gonna give you these 4 extra passes. So go ahead on these to get you to the front of the line. And I was like, she said, but you didn't get them for me. I was like, I didn't get it. I don't even know who you are. Why are you talking to me? I'm already gone. But who are you? I'm just bye.
Right.
Our passes and we rolled on out. So that's what Poppy did. Poppy was he was rolling in that conversation.
Right.
That's what went on.
So that worked. Angel, you know, sort of had a little bit of a fail with with Beto, but then Blanca came in and got the kid together, and little kids like, well, test your boundaries, and if you let them run all over you, they will. Because the first time that he threw them toys across the room, I'd be like,
we're not doing that.
No, no, that's not how this goes. That's not how this.
Them friggin' Legos, when they're on the floor, baby, you step on them. Oh,
yeah. So I did also appreciate that Lulu was working on herself. She got her 1 month chip. Electra got her an apartment, and she had this fine ass man that walked in. But the man apparently was also.
He looks familiar.
Yeah, he does. I couldn't figure out who he was, but apparently he chose crack over her. So she was like, "You got to get the fuck out." And then she was like, "Are you forgetting something?" And he thought, "Yeah, you need this dick." And she was like, "No, bitch, I need my keys."
Exactly. Like, fuck you and that dick. That fucking lip ass dick at this point that you've been smoking crack, that shit don't even get up. Bitch, go sit down. Go sit down with that bitch.
So oh God, this next two scenes just slayed me. So they were in the church where they're having the ceremony, and Poppy's there along with Pray Tell and Lamar, and they're talking about all of the things, and they get ready to raise a toast. And all you see at first is this peep toe boot.
Yes, with a peep toe boot.
In this white pantsuit, and it's fucking Cubby, and you realize that he's there in spirit, baby.
He came through with that.
That was a best supporting Oscar right there, where you don't say shit, but you just walk in and steal the fucking scene. That really did make me get. That was a tear. That was a tear here.
And for me, that whole scene, what it represented for him, and I've had those moments. I've had those moments. I've had them with Spill It Boy. I've had them with you and Onyx. I've had them with a couple people where you just fucking appreciate the people that are around you, that have been there, that have done shit with you. You just fucking appreciate it. And it's like, you know what? I just need to toast and celebrate y'all bitches for just being who the fuck y'all are. So like that for me, that was a great moment. And I mean, even though Poppy was concerned about Pray Tell, he was like, "Why are you wearing these fucking glasses at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?" And I guess he was thinking he was kind of high at first, but he was like,
or he was either high or he was trying to be cute.
Yeah, and it was like, what? But I appreciated that moment because it was a very real life moment for me. That I appreciated. So I enjoyed it. And he was like, "Listen, y'all have all shown me how to be man. You know how to be a man, and that's what I am. Like, this is where I am. So I'm saluting y'all just like you are saluting us." So I was here for it.
Then it was the women's turn, and it was Electra, Blanca, Lulu, and of course Angel. So they did something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. And when Electra gave her that white fur coat, which was
baby
she had ever purchased when she could afford it, and I thought that was beautiful. And then Candy playing the fucking piano.
Yes, God.
Just it. And then when they gifted her with Candy, I was like,
it was a lot, right? Right. You sitting there like, this fucking light is burning my eye, my retina. It's just, I can't. Ooh. It was listen. And then the funny part, she was like, and she said, if Poppy gets his ass on the line, you hit him in the fucking knee. He said, fucking Dominicans is crazy.
Right. But listen, that was all, sometimes you don't realize what people mean to you after they die. They can be annoying as shit in life, but after they die, you realize how much they mean to you. Yeah. And, Candy was that ride or die. She was always there to fight for her family, whoever that family was. So that was beautiful. And then the ceremony, as all of these beautiful trans women walked in all of these gowns. And, some of them were very elegant. Some of them were a little more hoochie. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's different style levels. And listen, at every wedding, there's always one person that will be like, Did you think he was going to the club? But okay. But they all ultimately looked beautiful and gorgeous in their own way. And I thought it was a really beautiful statement that those women there, because those were all, I believe they were all actual trans women, as well as women watching the show, could actually see themselves. It's like, yeah, marriage is something. You're not condemned to a life of just the peers. You can find a man who loves you and wants to have a family with you. You can be like Electra. You can be your own boss. Absolutely. And maybe don't get in bed with the mob, but you can build your own life and do all of that. So I thought that was beautiful. And who was it? Someone said, Louboutin said he didn't care for the giant flowers on the dress, which.
So let me back up first. Shout out first of all to some of the icons that they literally mentioned in the show and actually saw them in the audience. They shout out Sanaya as well as Andre Mizrahi and also the House of Khan, and they were talking about setting up the seating for the wedding. And then when you saw Sanaya with the all white hair, like again, if you know nothing about ballroom scene, Sanaya is that bitch. Like, so let's just be clear with that. But so Louboutin and this gown. So I thought that I kind of agree with you because I kind of thought the gown was beautiful without the tulips on it at first.
Yeah.
And then when they put the tulips on the front, I was like, this is too much. But what I did like was back.
From the back. Yes.
The train. Like, I like the way that's what I did like. But the tulips on the front, I thought they were a bit much. I was like,
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hate it, but,
It didn't blow my hair back. It didn't. Yeah.
But again, she's a bride. It's her wedding. So
yeah.
If she like it, I love it. So
yeah.
And first of all, I will tell you that Angel Bismarck Curry is a great actor. He really should be getting some accolades. Because, bitch, every time that hoe cried, I cried. Every time he teared up, I was just feeling it for some reason. Every time he got like emotional, I would get emotional.
There were 3 scenes for me throughout this whole entire thing that were when him and Angel first got together and he was trying to go on a date with her. And he started crying because he was like, I'm not crying. He was like, because I'm that man for you. And I'm just baby. I lost it on that scene. I lost it when he was on the floor on his knees last week or 2 weeks ago when Angel walked out.
Mm-hmm.
And when this motherfucker started singing that fucking goofy ass song, it was so goddamn quirky and cute at the same time. And I was just like, these fucking air vents in this house. God damn it.
It was beautiful. But another scene that turned it was when Angel came back and asked him for forgiveness, and he was like, baby, I'm sprung on you. I was like, I wish somebody would say they were sprung on me.
Darling. It was I really like them together, and I hope that their characters, stay together forever. And so who knows what will happen in the next 5-10 years or whatever, or 15, or we get an update on where they are. But I'm glad that they're together. And the beach scene at the end was so fucking cute. It was so cute.
It was. So I love Beto was calling her mommy.
Yeah, I did. I caught that, and I was like, oh. And then I was like, do you let him? And I was like, well, if that's what he wants to call her and he feels comfortable calling her that, and I'm fine with that. I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm sure they already had the conversation. Like, listen, I'm not here to replace, your mommy, and if you want to call me whatever. And he was like, and little kids was like, bitch, I don't have time for like a bunch of different names.
Yeah,
you mommy now, so we good. That don't mean I know when I say mommy versus when I say mommy. I know what the fuck I mean. So we good. So yeah, that was great. So this episode was giving what it's supposed to have gave.
It was very, very fairy tale-ish, though.
It was. But, I
don't think it's a bad thing.
I think the theme, one of the themes of this episode, we're already exploring. Listen, it don't get no realer than realizing that you have age-related cancer and then 7, 8, 10 months later going blind from it. So we already getting the realness. Yeah. So why can't we also see a Pretty Woman moment? That was a fantasy. I mean, yes, lots of super rich men fuck prostitutes, but how many super rich men take the prostitutes shopping at Neiman Marcus and then marry them? I mean, that was a fucking fantasy, but no one talks about Pretty Woman like that. Lots of movies are fantasies. So why can't these? I mean, I'm not accusing you. I'm just stating the argument that, you know, we as a LGBT community, and particularly Black and brown trans women, deserve a fantasy story because so much of their life is there's so much violence. I was going to say based in violence, but that's not true. There is violence in their life or that they're exposed to.
Yes. Now that I would agree, exposed to violence. But now, so here's the question. How do you feel about Blanca and her boo thing? Like, how do you feel like this is going to end? Because I'm still suspect. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I'm suspect.
Yeah, something about me is just like,
I don't know if it's the cynic in me.
Like, it's the cynic in me, definitely. I was like, if you hurt Blanca, I'm going to kill you. Well, I ain't got to kill you because Elektra is. Listen, Elektra will have you murdered
by the motherfucking mob, bitch. Right. What?
So I mean, you know, but they got one episode left, so they either gonna wrap it up or we just gonna leave it with Blanca got her happily ever after, and that's all we know. So
we shall see. I don't know. Well, listen, it is 9:43. Why don't we go ahead and roll that beautiful beam footage, and then we can come back and do some closing remarks for all the folk.
Yeah, so we have one more week of Pose, and then we'll be chilling. We got Legendary, then Drag Race All Stars starts up. Oh, you know, speaking of fairy tales and allowing people to see the best, there was Dominique Jackson, who plays Elektra, was on last night's brand new episode of House Hunters. Her and her cute Latin boyfriend, I guess fiance. They described each other as fiancés. They were looking for a house in New York, someplace outside of the city.
Did you see the episode? Because I remember someone saying it was on. I didn't see. Okay,
I didn't see it when it originally aired, but I found it and DVR'd it, and I watched it before the show. It was cute. Okay. They found a cute house. It needed a little work, but Dominique Jackson, Elektra is part of that, but she is not Elektra, so she's not nearly as grand as that. But she is a little grand. But listen, girl, she actually said, I mean, she came out clearly at the top of the show. She said, as a Black trans woman, I never thought home ownership was something that was even possible for me. So, and then they go through the journey. And then when they had the house at the end, she was like, it's important for girls like me to see that you can have, this life, you can work hard, you can own a home. And what I loved about it was that it was a realistic home. It wasn't a home that Electra would live in, because Electra would have been in, some 5,000 square foot. It was a cute 2,500 square foot house, about 45 minutes outside of New York City. The house was built in like 1986. So it wasn't some palatial mansion. It needed some work, but it was something that her and her fiance could fix up and make beautiful. Right. So it was, I mean, and for some people that's a real fantasy too, but it was attainable. So I think someone could be like, yeah, I could work and save and make this happen, for me. So
I definitely want to see the episode. I remember when I first heard that it was coming on, I want to see it. And I'm glad that you brought it back up. So I need to actually look for it, because I definitely want to see it and see what it actually turns out.
They air House Hunters 5,000 times. So just
yeah, I'm sure I'll catch it on somebody's rerun of that episode. So but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I need you to catch up on Cruella, because I'm telling you,
I will. I've got 7 days.
What about Black Girl Sketcher? Are you updated on that?
Yeah, I finished the season.
Okay. Wait, I think there might be one more that I didn't see, because I think
the season finale. Oh, if you saw the episode last Friday, that was it.
What?
It was a relatively short season.
Okay. That's
renewed for season 3, so good for them.
Yeah, they did. So okay. Well, I'll we're just gonna say yay for Black Girl Sketcher.
Good for the look.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, thank you. Maybe it's that sophomore, like people talk about their sophomore efforts, their sophomore albums. Maybe this was the sophomore season. It just wasn't.
Yeah, because it didn't feel cohesive to me. So
it did not. It did not. Actually, you should do a review live with James. Spilly Boy knows doggone well that if that's something that he would want to do, but we have a whole different set of people and crowds. Not that it's that much different, but I mean, listen, I'm not speaking for both of us. I'm just speaking for myself, but I'm sure Dominion can speak up for herself. I mean, we don't necessarily do reviews. We talk about the stuff that we're interested in, but I mean,
I'm with it.
Why not? I mean, but the good and bad thing is that we are, and I'll say this is what I will speak on. We are all connected outside of this show. So stuff that we do on this show and even on YouTube, I mean, we care about it because it's fun, but like sometimes some things you just may not necessarily want to mix together. But
he's talking about the Cruella movie. I don't know why he was talking about I thought he was talking about Pose, but Cruella will be cute too. I will definitely have watched it by next week. So,
well, listen, we'll see. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that. We'll see. Maybe we'll do something. So I will have a conversation and see what goes on. But who knows? I mean, if folks are interested, why not? I mean, no big deal.
Take it under advisement, and I think it's a great idea. I would definitely be down for it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll chit chat about it. So cool. Look. Matter of fact, I'm gonna see him not next week, week after next. So we'll be talking about it. But anyway, as usual, I want to. I'm sorry, Dominion, I'm cutting you off. Was there something else you want to add?
Good. Nope. You're good.
Because I would say, as usual, we really appreciate you guys coming and spending your Wednesday evening with us. Even though this pizza pie parabola is ending and winding down for some people, it is still very real, and so I'm still going to say this to stay safe out there. But we appreciate you spending your time with us these Wednesday evenings. So we know you have tons of other things you could be doing, but we definitely appreciate you guys being there. And I also want to say, this is going to be a selfish plug. This is 30 Days of Epic right now. I just want you all to know, because we are in the month of June. This is 30 Days of Epic. 30 Days of Epic.
It's 12 Days of Epics right now.
All of June is 30 Days of Epic.
Oh, got it. Good.
But other than that, listen, we just appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. So it's good to see you all. So, Dominion.
That's it. I want to thank you all for coming out again. As Epic said, you could have done so many other things with your Wednesday evening. So we are glad that you chose to spend it with us. And on that, I will say thank you all for coming out. God bless you and Good night. Bye.